Okay, so it's a couple minutes past 8, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna start by welcoming you all to Freedom's Landing this year. My name is Kellyanne Curley, and I'm a resident director at Freedom's Landing.
Hey everyone, my name is David Ndozi. I am also a resident director here at Freedom's Landing.
So, Rachel, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm Rachel Lundstrom, and I'm the graduate resident director for Freedom's Landing.
Okay, so a little bit about what we do. We are professional live-in staff members who live in the complex of Freedom's Landing, and our goal is ultimately to provide an inclusive and safe and secure living environment for you all. And some of our day-to-day responsibilities include building management of the clubhouse and doing planning for really fun and intriguing events for you all at Freedom's Landing to get you all to know each other and to get to know us a little bit better too. We also directly oversee the resident advisors who live in the complex, and they are folks who live in your specific buildings who interact and engage with you all, and they do check-ins with you. And really, all of us who work for housing, we're a resource for you, and we'll connect you to so many resources that we have on campus. Okay, David, you can go for this slide.
Okay, so living in Freedom's Landing, obviously we have lots of amenities. First of all, just so everyone knows, we have an apartment style in Freedom's Landing. We have a full bedroom, it's a private full bedroom all to yourself. Bed is full size, internet is wireless only. We have space for kitchen appliances. We have refrigerator, microwave, stove, oven, and dishwasher. So it comes with all those. The laundry room, washer dry in unit, so you don't have to go anywhere else to do your laundry. It's all in there. That is shared obviously with the whole apartment mates / roommates. We have a panic button. It's in each unit. So if there's a case of an emergency, you need help, we can press that red button and it alerts our emergency services. So it alerts UPD and UPD rushes over. We have a clubhouse, which is our central location where my office, Carol's office, and Rich's office can also be found. So if you're trying to contact us during the day, that is where we will be more than likely. In the clubhouse, we have a computer lab as well, where you can print free of charge, where you can use a computer system in there. And also in the clubhouse, we have a game room. So we have Xbox, if you're trying to play it. We also have a lounge in the clubhouse area where you can watch TV. I know in years past, we've had events in clubhouse where, for example, Super Bowl games, that's pretty much where our RAs do like a big central event. We also have some drawer sets in there, in each bedroom. We have a gym and a pool. So that's something really exciting about Freedom's Landing. We have our own pool in there. So you can literally come there, swim, and also the gym. If you don't want to go to the rack, you can access the gym as long as you're an FR resident, because if your card access gets you to the gym. So those are some of our Freedom's Landing amenities you will be travel to as long as you live in the Freedom's Landing. All right, so these are just some stuff that Freedom Landing also has. If you're trying to, because I know some people are looking for like specific measurements and stuff. So like the mattresses are 74 size inches. So this can be found online. If you go to Georgia Southern website on GSU Housing, you can look for this. It gives you the specific size, because I know some folks need those information. So this is where this information can be located on the website. Yep.
All right, I'm next to talk about our room decoration policies. So you need to keep them at least 12 inches from the ceiling or floor. So one of the common things we see are like tapestries and things like that. So you have to make sure that those are at least a foot from the ceiling or the floor. And they can't be covering more than 50% of any given wall. This is per our fire marshal, so fire safety, we don't need any fires or anything like that in our buildings. You can't suspend anything from the ceiling. One of the things we've been talking about is on TikTok, a lot of people like to do this cloud motif from their ceiling. You can't hang anything like that. This just gives a list of things, and if it's on the list, it means we've seen it. So some of those are kind of jarring to some of you, but that's because we've run into those issues before for a number of reasons, not just because they can cause fires, but also damage to our building property. So feel free to take a look at all of that. There's a list of things you can't have in our handbook as well. So if you want to get more information, you can ask us this evening or go through the handbook. You obviously can't have any alcohol paraphernalia, which is like funnels, beer bongs, shot dispensers, basically anything to do with alcohol. You can't have it in our common area or on display anywhere in the room. We kind of already talked about not affixing anything to the ceiling or floor, but again, we don't want any damage to our property. We do bill for any damages. So that's just something to be aware of. You can't display anything such as flags, posters, or illuminated lights toward public spaces. And that's just to be respectful of the community around us. So we don't want to disturb the surrounding apartment complexes or your neighbors. So if you have lights on at night, like other people may not appreciate that. So just being aware of and conscious of the people around you. And all of this is basically self-explanatory. It's for safety and to respect the community. So you guys can read through it, but anything that's going to cause damage. One thing that's pretty common is like we want command strips. We don't want anything that will peel the paint off of our walls. Something to keep in mind with command strips that we've seen is like you need to be able to take them off the wall properly, because if you just rip them off at the end of the year, they will take paint off. So there's that little tab you pull down. But your RAs will probably talk with you a little bit more in depth. And yeah, just keeping you all safe in the residence halls.
Okay, so Rachel talks about this a little bit, but there are some approved items that we wanted to go over with you all. So any kind of clothing steamer or iron with an automatic shutoff, coffee pot with automatic shutoff, holiday decorations. You can only have 2 strands of lights that can be strung together, no more than that. That is a fire hazard, and it must be labeled with a UL approval. That is a third-party certified approved, like stamp of approval that most electronics will have on them. You can't have them on any porches or balconies. You can have a toaster, you can have a power strip or a surge protector, only 1 per resident, and 1 in the bedroom and 1 in the common space. And again, that must also be a UL approved appliance. And then with window treatments, they must be labeled as a fire or flame retardant. And this goes on to the second slide. David, I can continue with this one. This is a list of items that are continued to be pre-approved for multiple residence halls, but most importantly, right now we're talking about Freedom's Landing. So you can have an electric griddle, George Foreman type grills, a panini press, quesadilla maker, rice cooker, and slow cookers in Freedom's Landing only. Well, for what we're talking about, this is approved for Freedom's Landing. Okay.
All right, so just as we have approved items, we also have not approved items. So major appliances such as washers, dryers, freezers, refrigerator, micro fridges, dishwasher, air conditioners that are not already provided by university housing are prohibited. So you can't bring those in because we already have those in the units. Plumbing, water heating, and electrical systems were not designed to accommodate utility demands resulting from additional appliances. So when you bring in extra items that we already have, that kind of like creates, like an imbalance, and we don't want that. So to prevent fire due to unsafe cooking practices / appliances, certain appliances are not permitted. All approved appliances must be UL certified and listed to be used in the halls. Items without the UL certification are not permitted and will be the responsibility of the student to remove that from the space. So failure to adhere to this, we'll find those out. That means you have to go through the conduct process, and more than likely, you have to just see what comes out after that, which depends on how your case goes, but you have to go through the conduct process if we find such things that are unapproved in the halls. Next slide. Okay, I will just go over the list of unapproved items. So everyone knows air conditioning units that, like I said, we already have those. So you need those. Air fryers, bed risers, candles, candle wax burners. This is something that we see often. Do not have those in the hall. No candle wax. That's a violation. Charcoal, gas, open flame grills, lighter fluid, deep fryer, electric frying pans, extension cords. Do not have that, especially when it's like multiple. That's a fire hazard. Like, we take those seriously. Hammocks, hookahs, hot plates, all those, incense burners, large banners. This is also a common violation because you cannot have a large banner that covers a wall, because that's a violation. Lava lamps, salt lamps, live trees. We see these during like the holiday season. Do not have those. Multiple plug adapters, do not have that. Parachutes, bed, canopies, personal appliances, like I said earlier. Dryers, freezers, micro refrigerators, microwaves, those already in there. You don't need those. You also do need like the little micro fridges that you want to place in your room, except those are for accessibility services. Like, you have a special need, you have to go through the Student Accessibility Resource Center. So SARC, S-A-R-C, they will have to pre-approve you to have that, because I know in the past, some residents have expressed they need to have a micro fridge to keep their personal medicines and stuff. That's okay, but you need to go through the appropriate channel to do that. You can't just have a microwave in your bedroom, no, not microwave, like a mini fridge in your bedroom, and think it's okay. No, you have to go to the right channel if it's for a special personal use. Plugins, very common. I know you want your room to smell nice, but no, that's not allowed. You cannot use those. Air fresheners, electric air fresheners. Portable space heaters, you do not need those. Street signs, traffic signals, construction materials, all those do not have those in the space. If we happen to encounter those, that will be written up and you have to go through the conduct process. And trust me, you don't want to start your school year being in the conduct process. That's not a good start. Strippers / dancing poles or ballet bars, you don't want to have those either. That's a huge violation. Pressurized cooking devices, Instant Pot, you do not have, you don't need those in this space. Please, we've seen students that still do not adhere to all this and still bring those, and at the end of the day, they go through the conduct process, and which they never did. So please, just as Kel said earlier, take a picture of this so you know what to bring and what not to bring. Please, very, very important.
I just wanted to add a little bit of context to what David was saying. So he mentioned a few times the conduct process. And so what he means by that is a couple of times throughout this year, you'll see notifications or emails or flyers that say something along the lines of health and safety inspections. And essentially what that means is our housing staff go through the halls a couple times a year and we do inspections just to be sure that we can keep you all safe and we're making sure that the fire alarms are working properly. And on top of that, the university does, they do checks with the panic alarms also. So we can, again, ensure y'all's safety. So that's what he means by the conduct process. So when a housing staff member comes into your space and if any of these items are found, many of them can be, the result of you having them can lead to a fine. That's like a standard fine. So we're giving you this information now so we can prevent that from happening. Okay, Rachel, you can do this one.
Perfect. So safety. So kind of how we've mentioned, a lot of this stuff is for the safety of you guys. Professionals have decided on these things, whether it be a fire marshal or someone like that. So for your safety, there are staff on call each night if an emergency arises. So let's say a toilet backs up or you see water coming from your maintenance closet, anything like that, you have access to a staff member at all times. The university police are also available. And as Kellyanne and David said, there is a panic button in the rooms. And so anytime those are pressed, it immediately notifies the police. All of our interior hall building doors are accessed through card swipes. Now at Freedom's Landing, you use your card to get into our gym, as David said earlier, in the clubhouse, but your apartment doors are all gold hard keys. And so you'll get one of those when you move in and your IDs will be programmed to our clubhouse. And then our exterior buildings with your gold key, it also has a deadbolt. And so for added safety, you have 2 locks on your doors. And we keep mentioning the panic button, but that's one of the features that all of our units have, and you can press it for any emergency.
Okay, so I'm sure you all have heard of this already, but if you haven't, we do have a Live Safe app. And really what this does is it gives you really easy access to many safety features right on your phone. There's ways to report an incident or notify the emergency response on our campus, which includes University Police Department. So if you could go ahead and take a picture of this slide if you can't download it right now, but go back and make sure that you can download this app before you arrive on campus. So it can really help you like set your mind at ease and really look through all the features that it has.
All right, the most exciting part, OMI, woo! Operation Moving. So, OMI, as we typically call it, Operation Moving, obviously, is the day we get to welcome you all to the residence halls. So we have a staggered approach to this. So we have early arrivals, well, first August 6th to 7th on both campuses by time slot. So you all will receive a time slot or something, you'll probably already choose that. But once you receive your time slot, you get to move in by your specific time slot. So I believe that's within 15 minutes. You get to check in and then you move in directly to your residence hall. Time slot to select moving time to be released mid-July. So that I believe should be, if not, I'm not quite certain on that, but just know if it's not there yet, it's coming, but I believe they should be out by now. Early arrivals, RLC. So if you're an RLC for Freedom's Landing, you should not be in any RLC because FF do not have any RLC. But if you are doing financial recruitment, you will move in early for sorority recruitment. If you are in an athletic team, you also move in early, and you're the marching band as well, you will move in early. More information on the OMI page. I believe you can also scan the barcode there for more info. But OMI is going to be exciting. We're going to have a lot of volunteers helping you all move in. It's going to be great. We're excited to have you all in our halls, excited to program, excited to have fun this school year. We're just excited to have you all in the halls this school year.
Okay, so this is the end of our presentation. And now we just want to open it up to you all and see if you have any questions. And I'm sure that if you have a question that somebody else in this Zoom also has the same question. So please speak up or use the chat. We're here to help.
Honestly, y'all are like a quiet group because other meetings, they bombarded them with questions. I was expecting you to bombard us with questions. So please, you are free to bombard us with questions.
So are we not allowed to use LED lights, or can we like put them up? Like how can we put up our LED lights?
Sarah, do you want?
Okay. Yeah, so it says, so the manual does say that you can have 2 strands of holiday lights. So that's the LED lights, like the Christmas looking lights. You can have 2 strands of those kind of chained together, and you can do that with command strips or push pins, right?
Yeah, and also on that, it just cannot be close to the ceiling. It just cannot be close to the ceiling. It can be within 6 inches of the ceiling, 6 inches, rather.
Okay, so we have some questions in the
Are we allowed? I can go. You can tag along. Are we allowed to raise our bed? No, you all cannot. You cannot raise your own bed.
Okay. In Freedom's Landing is maintenance. Are they allowed to put in a maintenance request for that?
They can put in a maintenance request for that too, but if it's during moving, it's going to be busy. They probably will not, because we are prioritizing other like needs.
Okay. Can you bring toaster ovens? So on the approved list, there was a toaster, and I'm just rereading through the non-approved list. So I can get back to you if Rachel and David, you want to go through some more questions. I'm going to look through this.
Yeah, Rachel, go ahead.
All right, so somebody asked about the bus system. It's a ways down, sorry. I'm just trying to look through the chat. And there is a bus, and it doesn't go, like, there are multiple buildings on Freedom's Landing, and so it stops at the stadium, which is right next door to us.
Does the room have carpet? Yes, it sure does.
So somebody asked about a fan. You can have like fans that plug in. You just can't have like air conditioning units. So you can't like set one up in your window or anything like that. But if it's like a normal fan that you can just plug in, I believe you're allowed to have those.
You always have access to our individual rooms. Technically, it depends on what you're asking for. Like, can they access your space? Just because no. But do they have access to the space? Well, they are housing employees. Same way we are housing employees, we have access to the space, but no one's just going to walk in your space just because what? So even if we happen to do room checks, which we will this school year, we would knock and you all will know we are doing room checks. So yes, they have access. We as housing have got access to your space, but we cannot just walk in your space. That answers your question.
Yeah, and to add to that, like it's for your safety for us to have access. So if we get reports of like water underneath one of the doors and you guys don't answer when we're knocking, we are going to key in because we need to check on those issues. And so things of that nature, we do have access to the rooms, but as David said, like people aren't just keying in for fun. The next question's just going through, is there a mirror on the closet? No, there is a mirror in your bathrooms. And you can also bring those mirrors. There's like pretty cheap ones at Walmart or Target, and you can put those up with command strips. So feel free to do that. Another question was, is there a cleaning service or pest control? So you are responsible for cleaning your space. All common areas are cleaned by our campus cleaning, so outside. So on that note, please be respectful. Our cleaners are here for like your safety, and they do the best they can, but don't just be throwing your trash outside of your room or your car or anything like that. They're people too, and they work really hard on our campus to keep it looking as nice as possible. So please be respectful of them. As far as pest control, if you do have issues with anything, you're gonna let us as housing staff know, so that we can get it taken care of. Generally, like they spray for pests and things like that before y'all move in. And so we want to know though if you do have any issues.
Oh.
Okay, so, oh, sorry,
ahead.
David.
Go ahead, sorry.
I got an answer with the toaster oven, and so they're an approved item. They are not approved item for a couple other residence halls, but there's nothing that says not for Freedom's Landing, so you can bring a toaster oven.
All right.
And someone else asked if they can't have a fan, and you can have a fan.
Y'all are asking questions. Oh. shoot.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
I'm back up at the top of the questions, trying to go through.
Yeah, I think we already went through. Are there locks on individual doors? Yes, there are locks on individual door. You can lock it from the inside, and also you can lock it from the outside with your key. Can we change our housing options? Yeah, you can for right now, but during OMI, there's going to be a room freeze because it doesn't make sense to keep switching rooms when folks are moving in because that'll cause confusion. But from now to OMI, you can change your room, just give housing a call, and they'll help you with that.
I see that some people are asking for us to repost like sizes of things and approved and not approved items. And so just letting us all know. What else is on here? Let me open up the chat. We're getting more as we go along.
Yo,
Okay. How do I determine what floor my room is on based on the room number? Okay, so the first number in your room number is your building number. So if your room number is 914, then you're in building 9 on the first floor. If your room number is 924, you're building 9 on the second floor, right, David?
Yes, that's correct. Same thing with building like 16. So your room number is 1611. Unit 16, first floor. Are there ice makers in the freezers? Yes, there is. I think she already answered questions about closets, have a mirror. Do desks come with a chair, or do we have to provide our own? The desk sure does come with a chair. Can we have room mirrors? Yes, you can. If we get to order a large packet, how would we get it? So that goes through auxiliary services. So auxiliary services, we have mail services as well. So if you go through your My GSU and check your student services page, there should be an information where you can see your PO box number. So that number is very important because you have to go to mail services, which is where Dining Commons is. I'm pretty sure you've heard of Dining Commons, is where everyone typically goes to get like meal, that's our cafeteria. So by Dining Commons, in there is our service. So you can go there, look for your PO box number, and usually like small like emails packages, mail packages are all there. Or if you have like larger packages, just like you asked, they will send you an email that they have received your package. You gotta go there to claim it. So yes, you will receive an email once you receive a large package. You just gotta go there to claim it.
It looks like a lot of you are asking about our thermostats and air conditioning. So there is a thermostat in your space. The biggest thing to note is you want to leave your air conditioner fan on auto. So a lot of people, like when you go messing around with your thermostat, if you don't leave it on auto, it won't pull the humidity out of the air, and then you're going to have a very humid apartment. So make sure you leave our fans on auto, but there is a thermostat. You can lower your air down to 70. Anything lower than that will freeze the AC unit, and you also don't want that because then it might just turn off on you. So thermostats to 70, that's what I have my apartment on right now. And you guys acted like there were concerns about fans. You can have a fan. Also, I believe your guys' rooms are like mine, and there are ceiling fans in here. So yay.
Yeah, I saw a question. Are there buses that take students to Savannah to the airport? No, the only transportation we provide to Savannah is through like our Southern Express bus, but that's just to the Savannah campus. So we do not provide transportation to Savannah Airport. However, there's always Uber or Lyft to the airport. I use that sometimes, or I drive my car. So yeah, to Savannah Airport.
Okay, I saw a question about fairy lights. So fairy lights are allowed, but rope lights aren't. And then Christmas lights and fairy lights are allowed, rope lights aren't. So if you need to get clarification on the difference of those three, I suggest Googling them. The rope lights are the ones that are basically like in the tube and the lights are inside the tube. Those are not allowed. So I pulled up the screen again with the inches. So you could take a screenshot or take a photo, and I'll go to the next one in a few minutes, and then I'll go to the not approved items list again while we keep going through these questions.
There was a question about does your closets have doors on them? Again, if it's anything like mine, there's not a door. There are like there are things you can hang like hangers on, but there aren't doors on the outside of the closet.
How far is the stadium from Freedom's Landing? Haha, the stadium is like what? 30 seconds. But really, it's literally like right there. Like you can walk the stadium in 1 minute. So it's literally right there.
Yeah. The stadium is the closest thing you can walk to.
Yep.
Hello. I think I'm pretty cool.
You bring,
Naya, I think you're on you're unmuted.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
Can you bring a small TV if you want one in the room? It's your room. You can bring a small TV if you want. You can make a large TV if you want, as long as it's approved. TVs are approved, so yeah, you can. 40-inch TV, yes, that is okay. Can we hire our own pest control and cleaning service? I would say no, because we can do that for you. First of all, free of charge. You just gotta put in a work order. We will tell you all about work orders, and you can have like request pest control, and we have an actual contractor that does that on a regular basis. They come as students request sometimes, or they just do like a routine check, and they could just handle that. So I mean, it's free of charge, so why not? But you cannot hire your own pest control. No, cleaning service, definitely not.
Okay, so I saw a question about street signs. David, did you already, or Rachel, did you already address that? No.
Go ahead, Kellyanne.
Okay, so I know that street signs, the reason why you can't have them is just because there's actually, it's like a local and it's a local crime to steal them. And so when we see them in the residence halls, whenever we see them, we go ahead and document that. And through the conduct process, if you bought it from a store, it will have like some kind of stamp on it that will let us know that it's not a street sign that you purchased it. Is that correct?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if we can't tell, we are gonna have to document it and then there will be a conduct process. So
Mhm.
just be aware of that is what I would say.
I also saw a question for washers and dryers. Do we pay with quarters? LOL. You all have that in your unit, so it's free. You do not have to pay no quarter. You can wash as much as you want. Obviously, you gotta be respectful of your roommates as well. You don't want to keep washing every day and not let other people do laundry. So yeah, it's free of charge, no cost to you.
All right, I saw a few questions about air fryers. It's all air fryers that are not allowed. We do not allow air fryers per our fire marshal.
Somebody asked about cameras in the room. It says, can we have cameras in our room? I'm not sure if you mean security cameras or like an actual camera, but to my knowledge, there's no policy against either of those. And I would like to also note that um, here's the list for everyone asking. I would like to note that this list is not every single thing that's not approved. We really encourage you to go through the residential community guide. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, and I really encourage you to go through and read it. And that's basically the agreement that you sign on to automatically when you move in during OMI and as long as you're a resident here. And these rules aren't just for Freedom's Landing, they're for every residence hall on campus. So I'm gonna put this in the chat.
All right, I saw a question about garbage cans. We do not provide those to my knowledge, so you will need to bring a garbage can for yourself. I also saw a question about overnight guests. So we are planning to go back to normal on our campus. So last year y'all couldn't have guests, but this year those will be allowed. The biggest thing I'll say with guests is you are living in a space with other people right next door, so be respectful of your roommates. You're going to be talking with them and creating roommate agreements. So that's one of the things y'all will talk about between yourselves. We do allow overnight guests, but they can't stay for more than 3 consecutive nights in a row. The biggest thing is if we see like a mattress on your floor when we're doing room checks, or when an RA just comes and wants to talk with you, those kinds of things will be addressed. So that's the biggest thing to be aware of, is just be respectful of your roommates and of the facility. But yay to not COVID policies anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm seeing one that says, so we have actual keys instead of cards like you have at a hotel. Yes, you have an actual physical key. Something that's important, do not lose that key because it's a $231 charge if you live in a 4-bedroom apartment. It's a $100 and something charge if you live in a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom apartment. So yeah, those keys are expensive because if you lose one, we have to, rekey everything. So yeah, do not lose those keys you'll be getting on OMI.
Okay. I'm not sure if you guys addressed this already, but I saw a question about if RAs can go through your personal belongings. Did you already talk about that?
No, I mean, we kind
Okay.
of, but just go ahead.
Yeah, so RAs are not, so when we do health and safety inspections, they're not going through your drawers or your closets. They're not looking underneath anything. They're not touching anything. Really what I was referring to before is that when we walk into a space and if we see a candle on the counter or the RAs see like empty liquor bottles, even as decorations on top, like in your kitchen, that's what we're talking about, these violations that they can see. And so we really wanted to just educate you all now on what that means. And so no, they're not going through your closets or your personal items, and you'll never not be warned or notified when an RA enters your space, unless, like Rachel was saying, it's a maintenance concern or an actual emergency. Okay.
So I'm gonna do this 3. Does Freedom's Landing have an elevator for moving days? We do not. We have stairs and stairs only. So if you live on 3rd floor, gotta find a way up there. The rooms have thermostat. Yes, sure they do. I think they already explained how those overnight guest visitors work. Yeah.
Yeah, you are, someone asked about coffee makers. You're allowed to bring a coffee maker, but there's no hot plates. So I'm not a coffee person. I don't understand all coffee things, but I'm just giving you that information. No hot plates, but you can have a coffee maker that doesn't include a hot plate. Does not include one. I don't know if
So,
that
like,
exists, but
Keurigs,
the answer.
Keurigs have no hot plate.
okay, great.
Other things that we see in the chat. Somebody asked if you can make copies of your keys. Absolutely not. Big reason for that is because we don't want random keys to our doors floating around. When you leave, you will be turning that key back into us so the person after you can live in their space safely and not think that someone else has access to their space. Somebody else asked about Britas. Are they recommended? I personally like to have a filter system. That's who I am. I know there are people who just drink straight from the tap. That's not me. So if you're used to it at home, I would say bring it here. And then there were other questions. David, Kellyanne, I don't know if you can answer this. Somebody asked about plugging in their Tesla to charge it. Good for you. Don't know the answer to that.
I would say that's a no.
Okay.
I would say that's a no.
I would suggest doing your research to see if Georgia Southern has any smart car or Tesla. I don't even know what kind of plug it would be, but
As of right now, we don't have any, but definitely not in the residence hall, but there's no like station
yeah.
at the residence hall, so no.
Okay.
We
I think
do-
Armstrong might have a smart car charging station. I might be thinking of my undergrad, so don't quote me on that, but yeah. Sorry. Rachel, I think I cut you off.
No, you're good. You were still answering that question. I was just laughing at one of the chats. You said, so the water from the refrigerator is not filtered. I don't know if you're talking about the ice machine. There's no like water to get from the refrigerator unless you're talking about the ice. And I don't know about that. But there is no water like you can get, like there's not like a water tap in the door like some of the fridges have. It's not what's here.
Okay, someone asked about if there's any regulations on carpet sizes, and no, there's no regulation on carpet sizes.
I see a question, are flags allowed? Yes, but they cannot cover more than 50% of the wall. So you can't just have a large flag that's covering the whole wall and the space, because that's a lot. You cannot have a large flag. So even if in your room, you want to make sure it's as little as possible, it can't be large. And also, you can't put the flag in a way that it shows outside. So you can't, I guess, put the flag that covers the window. If I can see from the outside, that's a violation. So someone can just take a picture and you can be reading it. So that's a violation. So do not put your flags that shows vividly outside. And if you want to bring a flag, make sure it's small. It can't cover 50% of the wall.
All right, someone said height of the beds. They said it wasn't on that sheet. If yours are the same height as mine, I just measured it. So as far as putting things under it, 31 inches. As far as climbing into it, add like the height of like our mattresses onto that. But 31 inches from floor to the bottom of that bed springs.
How far is Freedom Landing from most main buildings? So Freedom Landing, unfortunately, is the farthest from main campus. So if you're a walker, you like to walk, take a hike, you got it. But if you want to go to main campus, I would say you can use the little scooter thingy Lime scooter thingy that is available across campus. You can use those. I see those often. The only FYI is do not bring those in the room. Do not charge those in the room because if you are found using it, that's a violation. So yeah, you can use the scooters, those are there. Students use those all the time, so you can just use those, pay for those and go to main campus. You can catch a bus. I recommend catching the bus to main campus because the bus literally stops in FL, just as they said earlier, it stops in FL and it loops around campus. But if you want to walk, it's about a 25-30 minute walk. You got it.
Somebody asked about wax melts, if they're allowed. No, we don't want wax or the heat that they generate that melts the wax. So not allowed.
A couple of people were asking about overnight guests, and I think I heard you say that there was no policy on that, and there's not. But I would like to add that main job of our RAs is to interact with you guys as individuals, as roommates, and then also as a community. So with that roommate aspect, our RAs are going to conduct roommate agreement conversations with you and your roommates. And in that agreement, there's going to be a whole variety of things we talk about, including basically like the foundation of how to live with somebody else, like talking on the phone at like a certain time and how like guests a week and like having guests in the apartment at certain times. So like you're going to have an opportunity with your RA and your roommate to talk through these things within the first month of school.
Also, there are certain policies for your guests. So you're only allowed to have 2 guests in your room with you at a time. Now,
Yes.
somebody asked for people helping them move in. Somebody else can address that when I'm done. But also, your guests can't stay more than 3 consecutive nights in a row. And there's also like how many nights they can stay. Like it's a big number per semester, but essentially like we don't want somebody living with you. Like we don't want people overstaying their welcome.
Mhm. There's no regulations regarding the pool. There's no lifeguard, and the pool's open as long as the clubhouse is open.
10 p.m. And when our DAs say, hey, y'all need to get out of the pool, we're closing up shop, be respectful to them because they're just doing their job and they want it to be done with work for the day, just as any of you who've had jobs and know what it's like when you want to get off work.
Somebody else asked if all keys or access cards are the same for all residence halls, and no, yours is coded for Freedom's Landing. It looks the same. It's what you're going to use to swipe into the dining hall, but it's coded specifically for you. David, somebody asked about visitor parking passes. Do you know the process for that?
Yeah, I was literally gonna answer that. So someone asked when we have people come visit me, like family, for example, where can they park? From what I know, previous years, parking does not operate on weekends. So weekends we can have visitors, park. So yeah, you can park in Freedom Lane. Remember, that's that last year. I don't know if they're going to change policy this year, but from what I know, that's a last year. But however, I recommend you can contact Parking and Transportation, PNT, and they'll have the more updated information. But as of last year, they didn't really observe parking on weekends, so anyone could park on weekends. But Monday to Friday, you sure bet they be ticketing and they be putting and towing cars too.
So somebody asked if they could paint an access wall in their room. No, you can't do any lasting effects to your room because they're all made a certain way and we want them to stay that way for our next guests or residents. How many people can help me move in? As many as you want to bring. The more the merrier, I say, when I'm moving boxes. Reward them though with like pizza or something because it's hot here.
Okay, so people are asking about when you're gonna get keys. You get them when you move in. Does each person have their own key? Yes, each person has their own key. Um, is that key different from the front door key and the bedroom key?
It's the same.
It's just one key?
Yeah, they get one key. One key gives them access to the main bedroom, like the main door, the apartment door, and then their personal bedroom door.
Mm. But their roommates have different keys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay.
So it's coded differently. It's like A, B, C, D. So bedroom A will have a key coded to A. Bedroom B have the key coded to B, but they all open the actual apartment door. They just open
Mhm.
separate bedroom doors.
Okay, somebody asked, how do we find our RAs? That's my favorite question. So your resident advisors will be reaching out to you within the next few weeks through your student emails. Also, when you move in on Operation Move In, they'll be around your building. And so the hope is that they'll be able to introduce themselves to you throughout the first few days. And then additionally, you're gonna keep your ears open for hall meeting times with your resident advisor. And their rooms, they have a plaque outside that says resident advisor. And their room will be either in your same building or a building next to it.
So we've answered these questions before, but they popped up in the chat again. You do have a desk chair that comes for your desk, so you do not have to bring a separate desk chair unless you want more than one. And then somebody else asked about elevators again. We do not have elevators, it's stairs. So if you're on an upper floor, you're gonna have to walk upstairs.
Yes. Also, I saw multiple questions about a safe. Yes, you can have safes. And no, we will not ask to go through it or go through it. Yeah, so that answers that question.
However, prefacing that, if there is a concern about what is in that safe, like somebody, for instance, tells us there's a gun in there, we will like contact police and obviously ask you to open it. But like that would only be if like somebody was in fear, like that you had something in there. Like we're not just for funsies.
I think somebody else asked how often we go into your rooms. I think we touched on this a little bit before, but for like official housing procedures, maybe twice a semester. But other than that, depending on your relationship with your RA, it could be more than that. And then also, again, the safety concern or maintenance concern.
And someone asked, are we allowed to bring our own cleaning supplies? Please bring them.
Please do.
Please, very, very important, because guess what? By the end of the semester, December, or end of the school year in May, when you are moving out and the room is nasty, it's terrible, disgusting. Guess what I'm gonna do? Guess what I'm gonna do? Charge y'all. Yes. So please, I'm begging, bring your cleaning supplies so you can clean regularly. Do not have that bathroom or shower from day one,
Mhm.
dirty, till December or May when you're leaving, and it's nasty. No, please treat that as you treat your own space, because it is your space. So when you're leaving, it will be nice. Please and thank you.
Yes. Okay, so what renovations have been done? So there's like a 2-year plan for Freedom's Landing. They started this summer and it's going into through next year also, but they started on a lot of like external renovations, like the outside panels and the airflow systems, things like that. So you can't necessarily notice when you like walk into your space, but there has been renovations that have occurred. Someone asked if we have hardwood floors. No, your living rooms are carpet, and I can't remember what's in the actual bedrooms.
Bedrooms are carpet too, and then in your kitchen, it's like a plasticky tile situation.
Someone asked for early move-in, is there a limit on how many people can help. Is that what you already answered, Rachel?
Yeah, so I say the more the merrier as far as helping you
Okay.
move in. Somebody did ask about if we'll have volunteers for early move-in. So anybody got an answer to that one?
Yeah, for early moving, no. For early moving, no, no. Volunteers only for actual OMI day, Saturday. Sunday, no.
Someone asked about parking with your residential parking pass on campus. I believe you have to buy a specific parking pass if you want to use it to park as on campus as well as with your residential pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you buy your parking pass, it asks you where you live and it will only give you a parking pass for like Freedom's Landing. So our Freedom's Landing parking pass only allows you to park at Freedom's Landing. It won't allow you to park at like other residence halls.
Mhm. Somebody asked about registering your TV if you bring it. You do register it for the Wi-Fi, and you can find that information if you type in Georgia Southern University, Georgia Southern device registration, something along those lines, and it'll bring you to the IT page that will help you connect all of your devices when you show up.
You can also go to your MyGS page and like there's a ton of helpful links on there, and one will say like your smart TV's MAC address and like how to get that. And so
Somebody asked about bringing a personal electric scooter into your residence hall. As far as I know, you cannot have any kind of scooter or bicycle in your residence hall or you will be fined.
Just something extra on parking. New York do not have assigned parking spots. Just in FL, we don't have assigned parking spots. It is first come, first serve in Freedom's Land. So if you park next to your
Mhm.
building, by the time you drive out, you come back next 2 hours, the spot might be gone. And you have to park somewhere farther than your building, but you will still find space in Freedom's Land. We have 1 more minute for a couple more questions.
PlayStations are good in the room. You can have a PlayStation. Somebody said they're still confused about LED lights. Like, what if they're not string lights? David, I don't know what our policy is for that. LED lights that aren't string.
Oh, I think they mean the sticky ones. As far as I know, just the rope lights are unauthorized.
Yeah.
Gym hours are the same as our clubhouse, so it closes at 10 p.m. and opens when the clubhouse opens.
Somebody asked a couple times about fluorescent lights versus actual light bulbs. I don't think I know the answer to that. Someone said, is it a good idea to bring bikes? The campus is really large. So if you enjoy walking and feel you have the time between classes to walk back and forth, or if you don't want to use the shuttle services, then yeah, a bike would be a really great option. There's bike racks all through Freedom's Landing. Okay, so I recognize that there's still so many questions and so many more coming through, but unfortunately it is time for us to wrap up. So what I'm gonna do is put my email address, and if David and Rachel or David put in your email address in the chat too, if you want to, you can send us these questions and we're happy to answer them.
Also, no to candle warmers of any kind. I saw that in the chat.
Mhm.
No.
Okay, so there are our email addresses. So if you want to take a screenshot, write it down. Yeah. Okay, I saw a lot of questions about outlets and plugs. This one specifically asked if there's a plug near the desk. I think that would really, and a cable outlet. I think that really depends on the spot of your desk, and so it's not standard for every room. Does that make sense? Cat's meowing. Okay, again, we're really sorry we couldn't get through all your questions, but we just want to be mindful of time. And if you want to send us an email, we're more than happy to answer them. Have a good night, everybody. Can use bikes to go to campuses. Between Savannah and Statesboro is an hour drive. So unless you're like a super biker, I don't know if that will be possible. I'm sorry, LaShure. I don't know the answer to the electric scooter. Okay, I'm gonna, LaShure Jones, would you mind sending me an email about that so I can make sure I follow up with you? Yes, you can use bikes to get to class, KCX. There's bike racks all throughout campus. And you can bring your own bike lock to, make sure that your bike is safe while you're in class. Yes, you can put curtains out. Okay, everyone, I'm gonna close out the Zoom. Have a good night. Bye. All right. Bye, David.